Namaskar. Welcome back to another live Thursday evening, 7 p.m. So today I'm going to talk about what's happening in Windsor. How is the Windsor market? Because that's a common question I get. So I tend to do every month one live talking about Windsor and the Windsor stats, market updates, and of course answer any questions you have related to market, related to investing, related to sales. Don't be hesitant to ask anything that's going on in your life. That wherever I can add value, I would do my best to do. So with that, hope you guys doing great. It's a wonderful Thursday evening, and my baby Ahilya is growing. I was just seeing her, and she already like grew a few inches. So it's a new life being a dad. So good to see. Just literally, I thought of sharing, my emotions here. As soon as I see her, all the thoughts in brain vanishes. So just focus on her. So I think that's a good stress relief. Probably other fathers can relate to that. So with that, welcome back. Let's talk about Windsor. What's happening in Windsor? Welcome everyone. Any questions? Please leave it in the comments. Of course, I'll answer. Along the way. Let me just pull up my screen here. Let me just get some data. So present the screen, share the screen, window, Chrome tab. Okay, here you go. So hope you guys can see my screen here. So what's happening? This is just an overview on what's happening in Windsor. Of course, you all have access to this website. You can dig into it. If you're a data analytic person, would love to dig into it. Which when before you invest or before you buy your first property, this is the website to get more data about Windsor board. Okay, so the highlights is the average home price dropped by almost 5% comparative to last month, comparative to last year. So last year, November, whatever the price was, we are down almost 10%. So 9.94% down. And the properties sold, that means the number of properties sold in November were also down by 50%. So that means the less properties are selling. And the new listings are down by like 17%. So of course, if it's something new terms for you, I'll go deep into it. Any questions, just let me know in the comments below. So I'm going to just switch my screen here. Okay, so hope you guys can see my screen here. Oops, wrong screen. My bad. I think I completely lost touch with my IT background here. Let me just quickly share some screen here. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show. So the biggest thing that I'm noticing is the number of available listings on the market. A very important factor because it's a demand and supply, right? And of course, a lot of things going on, not only just the demand and supply, the interest rates gone up again by 50 basis points. If you're not aware, that means the prime rate increased from 5.95 to 6.45. So another 50.5% increase. So 50 basis points. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is the Bank of Canada going to increase again next year? Let me know in the comments below. But let's just look into this data for now. So if you see here, the November new listings compared to last year, we had actually more listings. So more inventory means, you know, less demand, right? So the more inventory, the more inventory we have on the market, the less prices will go, the prices will go down. um, Same thing if we switch to the data on the average home price trends. Let me pull up that again here. Before that, let me quickly take a question here. Hey Sarvesh, how are you? నేను బాగున్నాను, మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు? Ahmad, can you please tell me what property management company you use in Calgary? It's actually a private person, and she said strictly, please don't give my numbers. I'm not taking any more business. But she said she will let me know if she takes more business. So uh, I don't want to share the number when she is not open for business. But whenever she is available, I'll share that contact. Justin, good night, a realtor here watching from Branton. Hey, Justin. Good evening, buddy. Glad to see you. How is the market in Brampton? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear, if it's following the same trend like we do, because it's really interesting to see how our um, market is behaving, but also curious to learn how other markets are behaving as well. So let me pull up the stats of how the average home price was just at the peak time, and how the average price now. So that is a good sign. This is like, the data that I'm presenting here is the residential data. So just FYI. So basically, which means, for residential home, average home price as of today, we are sitting in November, right? So I mean, of course we are sitting in December, but the data we always have a month before. So last month is completely done. So this is the data for the last month. So average home price is 511, pretty much the lowest in this year. If you see, we started in this year with the average home price of 630. It went up to 704 and went up to 723, though the peak market was in March. And then it started to down until August, I thought, was the bottom. And then we have seen the market started to pick up in September and October. So what we noticed in these 2 months, the inventory actually gone a little bit down, and then now the inventory picked up. The listings, number of listings, I mean, when I'm referring to inventory, the number of properties available on the market. And then immediately the drop is like, if you do the math here, the average home price last month was 542. From there it dropped to 511. So if you do the math, it's approximately like 5%. Here we saw from August to October a 4% growth, and then dropped to 5% down. So do you guys think, is this the bottom, or is there going to be more price drops? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm also curious. I'm also learning. I'm just presenting the data that I have right now, but at the same time, I'm just curious. What the market could turn into, right? And another interesting one that I just want to share with you guys is here the price range, the properties, what price range, what percentage of properties are selling at what price range. This is a good stats. If you're looking at certain type of properties or a certain price range, this will give you how much properties available or how much properties are selling. So for example, if you're looking at any property under 140, 180, that means there were like literally four sales. And I bet you most of this either mobile homes or maybe a lot, because I sold one residential lot for a client. That was, we got it for in a nice neighborhood, a residential lot that is ready to buildable. Is I mean, not ready to build, you have to apply for permits, but there is the services at the lot, on a mature East Windsor area. We got it for 165. So probably that's one of them here. If you're looking at the properties 20, then there are like 21 properties sold uh, in November 2022. So this gives you an idea, right? Like how much what can you expect in the market, what type of properties are more, right? Like if you look at the average, the majority of the sales happened is between 260 to 700. So a lot of sales are happening in that range. So that means, you can expect some kind of a competition in this price range. If you're going for over 1.5 million, there was only one sale. So that means if you're a buyer for luxury home, there is less demand. So that means you can negotiate more. So this data is something very, very important when you're looking to buy. That can help you to see where you're sitting, and how to navigate, how to make your decisions accordingly. Hope that makes sense. Hope I'm not talking something, rocket science. If anything doesn't make sense, let me know in the comments below. So let me just go through some comments here again. My Friday evening life, I love that name. What is the max range of house price that I can afford with 80K per annual earnings? So that's a very good question. Generally, your to calculate your affordability depends on how much liabilities you have. Like if you have any loans, any car payments, that also matters. But just a like very vague number generally mortgage people do is like 4 times of your salary. So if you're making 80,000, let me quickly do the math here, into 4, so you can afford up to 320,000. So that's like a very vague number, but this is where always talk to a mortgage person. If you don't have one, DM me on Instagram. I'll give you my guy's contact. They can get you pre-approval in 2 days, or maybe at the most 3 days, to give you a like right number, what exactly you would qualify for. Robert, typically you can borrow 4x. Yep, there you go, someone answered. Full-time job longer than 2 years. I mean, if you're a permanent resident, you have a full-time job. Even if you're 3-4 months into the company, you don't have a probation period, then you might qualify as well, because there are lenders have different policies, right? So even if you don't have 2 full years, don't worry. Yeah, just talk to mortgage people. Different lenders have different policies. Don't be don't take no as an answer from one person or two persons. So yeah, generally. And again, if you are a family, if you have a spouse, that income also adds, right? If your income is 80,000, and if you have a spouse, you can add their income to your income, so both can combine, qualify for more. Genial. Hello, I want to buy a house next year as I get my permanent residence. I'm willing to pay 60 to 70% down with a 600,000 house. However, I'm doing this for investing purpose and rental income. How to make this plan work? So first of all, as an investor, I personally would not advise to put 60-70% down, even if you can afford, because there is the huge advantage with real estate is the leverage. Put 20% down, and let the tenants pay down your mortgage over the period, because that's a guaranteed returns on your money. The mortgage pay down, market fluctuates, so the first guaranteed income is that mortgage pay down. And the second one is over the 5-10 years period, we know that in Canada the market prices go up. So the price appreciation. So if you're buying one property, let's say for 500,000, you're putting 60 or 70% down. That means you're paying, excuse me, excuse me, guys. Let me sip of water here. So if you're putting 60% down, that means you're paying more than 250,000 on a 500,000 property. Whereas you can use the same funds, buy 2 or 3 properties. So now if the market appreciate by 20% in next 5 years, let's say 500,000, 20% is 100,000. So if you bought only one property, you made only 100,000 on this one property. Whereas if you bought 3 properties, now you have 300,000 returns. So your returns are almost 100%, because you leveraged against 3 properties. And also now you have 3 different tenants paying your mortgage. If you have one tenant not paying the rent, you still have the other two tenants paying your rent, so you have more leverage. So there's a lot more advantages going for. Again, at the end, it's your personal choice, because if you're and your age also matters. If you're at a place where you're retiring, you don't want to get into this thing. But if you're young, in 20s 30s, personally I like the um, leveraging into multiple options, because just look, 20 years after from now, 20-25 years down the road, you have three properties that will be free and clear. So that is guaranteed, right? So even if their price is just where they are right now, 500, 500, 500, so your 250,000 turned into 1.5 million. Think about it. Whereas if you bought only one property, it's only half a million. And that means you only doubled your money. Rather here, what fold you turned your money. And now just add whatever the appreciation you want to add on top of it. It's a cream. So just make wise decisions. Of course, by no mean I'm not a financial advisor. Just a disclaimer. I'm just a random guy who has invested, who has some opinions, who has some thoughts, sharing freely. So of course, feel free to object. Yes, that would be the number that would suggest taking your maximum availability mortgage. Robert, I'm guessing you're answering previous person's question about the maximum affordability. That's Thanks. Congratulations on the baby. Thank you, Ahmed. So you don't need to put investors. Yeah, there you go. Robert is also saying the same thing. Invest 20%, let the other 40 to 50 do work somewhere else. Hopefully you can lock it in a cheaper rate. Makes sense, right? That's exactly a smart investor. I guess maybe you're just starting out, you might not thought about it, right? So also where you are standing with your plans, future goals also matters. So would you suggest someone without a PR buy a house, or is it better to get one after getting a PR? So look, how far are you getting your PR? Because generally that 25% you can get it back in, if you are getting your permanent residency within 4 years. So let's say you bought a property today and you paid 25% extra. If you have that money, then you got your permanent residency 2 years down the road, you get your money back. Of course, you invested more money into one project, but you will be having that at your hand when you're done with your PR. But the risk is, if you don't get your PR in 4 years, then your 25% money is gone. That's a lot of money. So you know yourself better where you are with your permanent residency process. If you're very close, maybe it doesn't hurt to look into buying a property, because you can always ask for longer closings. You can ask for, because right now a lot of people want to sell. If you find a right motivated seller, if you ask for 90 days or 120 days closing, they might agree. So that's one option. And right now just like what you have seen the market data in Windsor, we have almost 30%, little over 30% price drop from where the peak was. Is it going to go further down, or is it going to pick up? That's a $1 million question. That's a $1 million question, because the rates just gone up again. They've been increasing aggressively interest rates for the last few months. So it I would suggest, get into the market, don't buy, start learning. Whichever the city you're in, connect with one of the best realtor in that area, who can help you, who can guide you, and just tell them honestly what's your plan, because they will keep you in the loop with the market updates. They will keep you in the loop. You start understanding different properties, different options available for you. So if you find an opportunity that is worth going into, instead of waiting, then go for it. But don't just blindly jump. That's my suggestion. Hope it makes sense. If there is still any follow-up questions, let me know. We'll see price drop in December. Yeah, but you know what? Let's wait and see. It's very, very tough things to see. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Is the prices going to further continue to drop? If they drop, how long they're going to continue? And do you have any reason for thinking? If you think it's going to go up, what's your reason? If you think it's going to go down, what's your reason? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. I love to hear, because everyone have their own insights, right? Everyone have a different thought process. So I would love to learn from you guys, see what you are thinking. Why would the market crash another 20%? Um, I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to crash 20%. At this point, I stopped predicting the market, honestly, because 30% itself, the drop is crazy to like think for a second. In literally less than 8 months or 9 months from April, so April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 8 months, 30% drop. That's crazy. So is it going to go down? Who knows? With the Bank of Canada, that a lot of things depend on the Bank of Canada, and also what's happening in states now. A lot of big companies started to lay off. So it's the real estate is always a delayed, it reacts slowly with the changes that is happening on the market. So with just like with the interest rates, right? So we are slowly seeing the drops because they started increasing almost in April. So since they started increasing the rates, we have seen the prices gradually drop. So if they continue to increase, that's something, I don't know. Some economists says they might stop increasing in next one or two shots. After that, they might stop increasing. Um, we have to wait and see. If they do, then it can impact. It can stop the price drops. But here's my favorite thing about real estate: if you own a lot of properties as of now, just wait and see. Keep looking. If you find some great deal, 10%, 20% lower than the market value, then get in. If not, just wait on the sidelines, have enough savings for the interest rate. But if you're a first time home buyer, you haven't bought anything, right now you have savings, right now you qualify for a mortgage, then if you're someone like that, you're paying rent for someone. And if you can find an affordable home, don't go for crazy prices, because this is not the right time. If you can replace your monthly payment just with the mortgage, maybe do a house hack, buy a duplex, because we all know in a long run the prices will pick up in a 5-10 years down the road. And if you don't own anything, and if you're in a perfect position, you have the savings, because savings can evaporate just like that. So because we're in a world where savings doesn't exist that easily unless you're so committed. So if you're in a perfect position where you can afford and buy, and if you're buying smartly, not like lavishly a luxury thing, even if you cannot afford, then I would want. But if you're buying something, a cash flowing property, a house hack, you live in one unit, rent out the other unit, or you live in one part of the house, do the Airbnb on the other part, you're still living with your same expenses, because no one can time the market perfectly. As of now, there is already a 30% drop. So that's my thoughts. Again, I love to hear the if someone have a counter argument, I love to hear. Robert, BOC decides to continue with the rate hikes. Two, inflation data continues to run strong. Energy prices skyrocket during the winter. Jobs lost due to the crushing demand. Bankruptcy of the bad lender. Uh, Great points, Robert. So you are backing up your 30% down. They can go 30% down. So now I got it. Yeah, it makes sense. You have a very valid point. It could. I thought that would be better approach, but I don't want that crazy down payment that would cross my rental income, and I'm locking my more properties, but I just need to secure with full payment. So if you guys are talking about the fixed and variable, then it's a different story. Better approach, but I don't want that crazy down payment that would cross my rental income. I mean, so that's going back to I think you're talking about the down payment, right? Putting higher down payment. That's a great concern, right? Like, so this is where, if you're going into bigger cities, yes, it makes sense, because you don't want to go into bankruptcy, or you don't want to get into all these issues where tenants not paying, so you can afford. But if you're going into affordable housing, probably instead of putting that much down payment on a one residential property, Maybe you would rather put 35% down on a multifamily where you have even tenant, one tenant doesn't pay, two tenants doesn't pay. You have more leverage there, because most of the multifamilies you need 30% or 35% down anyways. But again, hey, everyone have a different approach with the investing game, and it's more peace of mind when you have a lot of equity in the deal, right? Just like to back up your point there, Janelle, I think you will have more peace of mind. You don't want to, if at this point, this is where this is another thing, cool thing with real estate. You play around with your own personality, because there is nothing wrong or right approach. It's just a different ideas people have, different approach each investor takes. What approach do you want to do, and what approach does it fits your personal needs? Because certain type of strategy works for me, certain type of strategy works for you, because your family situation, personal situation, your job, your profession is at a certain thing, a certain area, I don't know. And same thing for me, right? I'm at a certain place where I rather could take higher risk or I could not take risk. So it's very personalized. You can personalize your strategy based on your personality, based on your personal situation. You would need to obtain an exception from those lenders. Probably that's a backup answer for some other question, I guess. um, Shantan, can you do a video about the commercial property, please? Yes, definitely. My commercial property is still under renovations. If you guys have seen, I actually made one video. I think 6 7 months ago. I bought a building recently that was a mixed use, one commercial and five residentials, which I'm completely redoing the whole building, because it was actually three residential and one commercial. Now I'm turning one commercial into two residential plus commercial. So I have to go through the minor variance that already I got approval, and I have to get the permits, which is in the process. And I'm renovating the residential units which are done. Now I almost rented out them as well. So of course I'll be doing more videos on that project anyways. And if you are talking about anything else that you want to know specifically about commercial, let me know what specifically you want to know about commercials. Aditya, if you are a first time home buyer looking to first the market time the market, when would you personally begin to look to buy in 2023? Robert, that's a really tough one, because if I'm a first time home buyer, timing the market is really tough. Even a savvy investor, even like after owning couple of properties now, i i I'm surprised how quickly the market has dropped. I was not planned for this. As a first time home buyer, if you're qualified, you have enough down payment and the market already dropped by 30%. And if your goal is to, like you said, first time home buyer, you live in that house and you're not buying something crazy and luxury, if you're buying something that is within your reach, if your salary goes by half and you can still live in that house, I would still buy, because you don't know where your financial situation would be 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road, 1 year down the road. That's my philosophy. Because what I have to lose, 5% down, and plus, anyways, I'm paying rent somewhere else. If it's $2,000 $3,000, can I buy a house that my expenses doesn't go up? If I can, then I would rather buy. Because what if the market just pick up very quickly and start going up? Now I cannot find, because now the bidding wars will go on. I have seen many buyers, they were literally like couldn't get a property for years, 6 months, 9 months, because the bidding were crazy. Now here you are, you can negotiate deals, you can get a good deal, you can get a less than market value, whatever even the current market value, you can get less than that, because there is fear right now. There is already fear in the market. So that's my opinion. Again, I could be wrong, but if I'm a first timer, I'll definitely take advantage of where the market is currently. Rodi, Aditya, is it necessary to have a realtor when you are purchasing the house? So it depends on where you are. If you're someone have no idea about real estate, I would say strongly yes, you need a realtor. Because not a realtor, just someone, your friend who doesn't just do for time pass or part time, doesn't know much about real estate, then you can do better job for yourself. But someone who is deeply connected in the city, have a solid knowledge, knows where the market is, what the data is, who is looking at the data every day, um, who has good personality to help, then definitely will help you in a big time. Because personally, until I became a realtor, I was working with a realtor, and I'm glad I had her, because she was my mentor. She and her boyfriend together, they owned like 6 or 7 duplexes at that point. And I literally like said, how can I do this? And she gave me the contractor, she gave me the property manager, she taught me about different neighborhoods, different rent price range, all the sort of things. And also now I can be more confident in taking my steps, because I know someone who have done it. So that's way more powerful. Personally, I cannot imagine myself getting my first property without her. I'm all day long thankful for my mentors. She was a realtor and her boyfriend was a mortgage broker at that time. They helped me to buy my first property, second property, until I got my, and even after I got my license, she was my mentor. She was my team lead. And then when she left, then I took over the team. But it's very powerful. But if you're someone like very very savvy, everything about market, and you have good friends in the real estate who can send you the data for every property, maybe it's hard to uh, deal by yourself if you don't have license. Hi papa, can I buy a house, has a newborn? Yes papa, because your papa can buy for you. You already got a new house for you in Calgary. That's your house. That's Mamta, my wife, if you guys don't know. How many interest rate hikes next year? What do you think? And congrats on the baby. Thank you, Sukhjit. Um, so, my prediction, it should not be more than one or two more, because they already increased a lot, which is going to slowly show up on a lot of small businesses. Because look, the interest rate hikes not just mean on the homeowners, businesses, because when the interest rate goes up, their lending, their capability to invest into their business goes down. That means they have to let some people go. That means now there will be blood on the streets. So if they do keep on increasing like they did in like 1978, where there were interest rates 12%, 17%, I cannot imagine if the Canada does that. Lot of blood on the street. It's gonna be crazy. I don't think Canada is that dumb. They know how to fix, and generally Canada always was ahead. Like didn't suffer as much as US. Like in US after 2008 crash, they suffered for like 6 7 years, but Canada only suffered for 1 1.5 year, because they tighten up everything pretty quickly, the lending criteria and all those things. And then they came up positively pretty quickly. So I'm positive. That's my opinion. I'm not expecting for more. Makes sense to me whenever whatever you said. But I was just worried about the Bank of Canada, as I don't have that crazy job to pay. So I was worried if I get qualified for a bank, and so thinking to pay more down. Yeah, you know what, that's exactly what I'm referring to, right? Peace of mind. If you want have more peace of mind, maybe put more down payment right now, and once you see the rates go down, then refinance, take your money out. Then you know but also think this way, even you don't have to do that. If the rates go up, you have the savings. Instead of putting 60% down, put 20% down, keep 10% as a backup, or 20% in your saving account, that is just sitting there, or in your not even stocks. I don't want to say that stocks, because that's also crashing. So in your savings account, 20%, that means 100,000 in your account. So if the rate goes up, what if the monthly payment goes down, like for your 100,000, what, 300 $3,000 a month? So 3,000 into, you can survive for 3 years if you have extra um 100,000 on the side. So have that savings. I call them contingency funds. This is very important. Now, a lot of people ask me, like, are you scared this because the interest rates are going up? Your monthly payment's going to go up. Because personally, I have variable on all my properties. Um, so what I did, I'm having like almost now 300,000 on the side that I'm not touching. I have like 100,000 in one of my stock account that I can just sell out because they already dropped significantly. Right now they're like 120, 130. Even I say another 30% drop, still I can access 100,000 there. I have another 200 in my business account that I'm not touching. So that money is going to be my contingency fund. If my tenants stop paying, if the interest rate, if I go into negative cash flow. Right now I'm still on positive. Right now I'm still positive, $2,000 ish. So I still have the room because thanks to CIBC, some lenders will give extended amortization. If you don't know what it means is, um, they automatically extend your amortization. If you started with 30 years, they go for 35 if the interest rate goes up. So they don't change your monthly payment, they're just changing your amortization. They keep doing it until the maximum, then they'll call you. And I got a call recently because they extended up till 40 years. So more than half of my mortgages were with CIBC. So that's another option, right? Like, so when you have that savings contingency funds, I think you should be fine, unless something crazy happens. If those crazy things happen, we all diving in the ocean anyways. My friend, my Friday evening life. If I'm planning for my first house, how much is the amount of risk I'm taking if I'm relying on rental income? So, um, depends on what home you're buying, what price you're getting it, and how much is your savings right now every month. How much are you paying in a rent right now? So there are so many variables. You got to answer all those questions to say how much risk you're taking. Let's take an example, right? Like, let's say right now you're living off of $2,000. So no matter what you do, you need $2,000 to live or rent anywhere, right? So that's your basic living cost. So if you're buying a house, that would need around the same $2,000 or $2,500. Then you're not taking too much risk. But if you're buying a house that would need $5,000 a month, so now you double up your living expenses, or $6,000 or $7,000. Now your cost of living going up. So if something happens to your job or like your savings, that's when you will be in risk. So that's what I'm talking about. That's not good in this market. That's my personal opinion. Janelle, you will need more source of income. Your down payment is impressive. You can find an exceptional from a lender, but you need more source of income for generally 2 years. I mean, again, I agree with you, Robert, but at the same time, maybe just sit down with a mortgage person. Talk to if one person don't have a clear answer, talk to another person, because there are lenders offer for 20%. They just take the income of the property into account and qualify you. There are B lenders like that. They may be interest rate like 0.5% more or 0.8% more. So it's always good to talk to different lenders, see who is where. Who is one of the best realtor in Windsor market? I have a home I need to sell desperately. I'll contact your brokerage. An agent told me that I list 300k 330 under what I paid. Who is one of the best realtor in Windsor? I have a home I need to sell desperately. I contacted your brokerage and an agent told me to list 30k under what I paid. So JKL, DM me if you need more help on that. Definitely I can look into it, see where you're standing. But here's what thing: listing price has nothing to do with the sale price. What matters is you need to find out what's your property market value and what strategy you're using to get the market value. Because right now in this market, getting the market value is a challenge. So you need a right strategy, a lot of marketing. So who is one of the best realtor? Of course, who is gonna say it's me? I was rated as number one agent for next last 3 years. So reach out, DM me. I'm more than happy to jump on a call with you one on one and discuss more details. Which city would you suggest to buy a house? Toronto or Calgary has the prices main criteria. So Personally, Toronto, if you're someone with a deep pockets, not a good idea because um, of course, great area, great city that has solid fundamentals, but affordability is quite high. So if you're just starting out, then instead of going to Calgary, personally, I would look into Windsor, because Calgary is still uncertain. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in Calgary. I did that because I just wanted to leverage, um, because I have majority of my investments in Windsor. So I'm noticing, there is immigration happening in Calgary as well, and I see that it has a potential to grow, but there is also chances because a lot of areas in Calgary has a high vacancy rate, like 10, 12, 13%. It takes like 2 months to rent a place. Sometimes my basement took me 2 months to lease. So that's one thing, but again, do more research. Personally, if you're in Ontario already, if you like to be in Ontario, Windsor is the best place because the prices doesn't not a big difference from Calgary to Windsor. Still very affordable. Like you just saw, average home prices in Windsor is like 511. And let's see some data here, what's happening in Windsor, because some news that I was following, what's new what's new happening in Windsor. If you guys know Farahi, the builder, the developer, he owns a lot of land across Ontario, and this guy, he's just announced he's building a 28-story building. Let me just show you guys my screen so that way you can see what I'm talking. Okay, here. If you see this news, a London based developer is planning a number of projects in Windsor, including a 28-story apartment building downtown. You're going to see about 100 million developments. Farahi guy told CTV News. He's a big, very big guy across Ontario. He owns, like, you will see Farahi built suit everywhere. That's a big news because these guys have a lot more insight than us. So if they're investing, something is happening. Another investment I have seen is a Hilton Hotel opening a former waterfront Radisson, which is worth like 25 million. That's happening as well. And also recently the mayor said, we will plan for at least a 30K new homes in Windsor in coming decade. So there's some updates there. A lot of things happening in Windsor. Still the bridge construction going on. Still the Windsor Mega Hospital project. It's in process. They're almost at the final stage to start the work, probably next year or so. Almost like few $1 billion projects happening in Windsor. So that I see like there is a huge growth potential for Windsor. So obviously that's the reason I would suggest Windsor. Does business from India works to qualify for a mortgage? Um, Mostly no, unless if you're qualifying, if you're showing the taxes in Canada. But again, Janil, this is where you need a mortgage person, because there is a lot of things that um, I could be wrong on the mortgage side. I always love to get in touch with an expert in that area. So there might be, there are cross lending lenders, so not the cross country lenders. For example, there is a CIC bank, Indian bank in Toronto, and some lenders, some brokers have access to that lender. If I don't know, this is where you got to talk to different lenders. Some people might say no, some people might say yes. Mostly I haven't heard, but you know what, doesn't hurt to try. Look up Danielle from Realtors. She sold my house a year ago, bought for 120, sold for 300. Of course, Robert. And of course, I'm here. Aditya, can you share the private money lender number of your fourth property? Fourth property. Now I have to think, bro. If you need private lender money, just DM me on Instagram. I'll send you what I have right now, because I don't remember which one is the fourth property. It's been a while. Remember, interest rate hikes can take up to 6 to 12 months to actually start the feel on the market. Yeah, exactly, exactly. CABC has over 5 billion in loans on the balance sheet. Warming to anybody in CABC, they are in the worst spot of big six banks for insolvency. Wow, that's a new news for me. That's good to know. So that means, if shit hits the fan, that's like you said, we don't know in next 6 months to 12 months what's going to happen. Let's say I bought a house with a non-conforming basement. Can I still rent out assuming previous zoning and no changes are made after I purchase? Nope, at least not in Windsor. In Windsor, if you bought a non-conforming basement unit or whichever the unit is not conforming and the city found out about it, they will ask you to go through the permit, goes through the process, make sure it's legal, so that then only you can rent. Or else they'll just put a stop work order or put a work order saying that the tenants has to leave. You have to keep the place vacant until you get the permits. So as far as I know, it's across Ontario the same policy. So your previous owner said it's a legal non-conforming unit and you could not make it a legal unit unless there is certain term called grandfathered in. If any units were grandfathered in and the city has it as that grandfathered in unit, then you might have an exception, but non-conforming is non-conforming at the end. When is the best time to refinance? When you have enough equity, when you are ready to invest into another property and you have a good amount of equity sitting on your property, just refinance and have that funds ready for opportunities. Chaitanya, I'm new to Canada, moved from US. I want to buy a house in GTA area. How do I proceed? Find a good realtor in GTA area. If you want to know one, just DM me. I can give you some referrals, some good people that I know in that area. Um, Start with the realtor, because he can hook you up with a different mortgage people, give you a good insight on which neighborhoods, what price range, where to buy, where not to buy, where you can find more communities that you're looking for. Find someone good. Rodi, in Windsor, that houses are been listed at 189, 4 bedroom, 2 bath. Now came the house is so cheap in Windsor. Some way says because of the Detroit being the neighbor. Is that true? Not at all. So if you missed the presentation, let me just quickly pull up the slides again just to show you. So the listing price does not mean it's a sale price. So let me just quickly pull up the stats again for you guys. So if I go to the slide here, so this is the unit residential units sold by price range. So if you're talking about under 184, there were only under 184, probably there were only 5 or 6 properties sold, under 4 properties under 180. So imagine out of what, over 200 properties, there were 4 properties sold under, not over 200, maybe close to 300. um, Number of sales were not even 300. One second, let me just, sales were to 331. So this month, in November month, there were 331 sales and there were 4 sales that are under 180. So listing price is different from sale price. Just FYI. What matters for you when you're buying, find out what's the market value of the property. How can you find the market value? By analyzing the recent sales, not the listings, sales of the properties in that area. How much property sold in that area, what features that each property has, and what's the data says. And this is where the realtors can do the comparables and analyze and tell you what's the market value. And then based on that, if the seller is motivated, you throw lower than the market value. If you're motivated, give market value or close to market value. So that's how you have to look into. But going back to your question, is the Detroit being an influence? Not at all. I don't think one country has anything to do with the another country. Windsor has a lot of growth happening, and the property that you're talking about, 180, 90 listed price, would have been listed for 40, 50,000 4, 5, 6 years ago. So, but the sale price is what matters. The average home price in Windsor is 511. Yep, that's true. If it's nasty, or it could be just the listing price strategy, either one of them. Justin, do you believe in January, February, March, many houses will come on the market, the inventory will grow? I think so, because the with the interest rate going up, the impact, right? Like now some people may realize, oh, I cannot hold this property, I have to sell. I don't have enough savings, because not many people are that smart to have enough savings, or they don't have enough income sources to have enough funds available, because not many people prepared for this high interest rates within this short period. So we could see more inventory coming in. How is the market in Brampton? Tell me that. Try to create a business strategy for 2023 as a realtor. Yep, very good. Ryan, hey Aditya, hope you're doing well. Curious, what do you think my options for a basement that has flooding issues in the past? It is currently just a concrete floor. What can I do to it? So this is where maybe get a BCIN designer or an architect or a friend who, if you who have done something with the basement, who has legal units. And what's your look into the city website? What can you do? What are the options? Does your city allow for a legal unit? If they do, then it's good. Now it's a wide open, a blank slate. Just get the architect or designer, get the drawings, submit to the city, get the permits, and do the renovations. Increase your income. If the city doesn't allow for a basement unit, then maybe increase the bedrooms, put a washroom. Most likely they would allow you to extend your place with extra bedrooms. Maybe do Airbnb, because you can again look into your city, right? Like this is where the rules and Airbnb also changing with the policies. If it's only your primary home, then you can do the Airbnb. There are certain restrictions, right? So look into those. Look into your city. If they allow, if you have enough height, that's another thing. How much cost do you have to spend if you have to convert that basement into a legal unit? Generally, if it's in Windsor, we need like 6'8", 6'9" to make a legal unit. And do you have a grade entrance? If you have those two, that means pretty good chances that you can make a unit. And also, what's the square footage, right? It also depends on the square footage, how much square footage you have in that basement. So if you have good enough square footage, you can put a one bedroom unit or two bedroom unit, then why not? Windsor Avenue, how to know what's wrong with this property? One through, of course. So one through inspection, right? Like, so that's always. Let's pull up. I'm actually curious. So let's pull up the property, so other people also would know what's this property is. 1108 Windsor. Okay, here you go. I got it. Let's pull it up. Share the screen. Here you go. So this is a property that our friend is talking about. Listed for 189. Listed just December 8th, which is like what, today. And four bedroom, good size lot, 30 by 134. Um, Central location, and they have an offer presentation on December 15th, and seller has right to accept or reject any offers. Let's look through the pictures, see how it looks. Vinyl, pretty standard. Condition not too bad. Oh, sorry. Not modern, but nice and clean. Clean laminate flooring, clean paint, pretty livable. Not updated kitchen, but granite countertop with a decent kitchen, stainless steel appliances, storage, bedroom, clean washroom, updated, nice new tile shower, stand up shower with a nice new vanity, decent carpet, good size, another washroom. So they don't have a basement pictures, decent size backyard. From the pictures, it looks pretty decent property. So what could be wrong? Probably it's a strategy from the listing itself. What I can tell is they're trying the bidding war scenario. They're, probably, I'm just um, throwing a rough numbers here. Don't consider these numbers as real numbers. I have to do the analysis to tell the value of the property. But let's say the market value of this property is somewhere from 250 to 300,000, right? So now they listed 60,000 less than the market value, 60 to 80,000 less than the market value. So which means there will be more eyeballs on this property. So that means there is a good chance on December 15th they might have more offers. So they might get more offers. So that means they might get market value. So we have to analyze what's the market value. And also, like you said, you're always get an inspection done. Never discount on the inspection. It's your investment of $300 or $350, but that could save you thousands of dollars. So get an inspection. So that way you will go into the project with the peace of mind. You know what you're getting into. So looks like it has a basement. I saw stairs going down, but they didn't have any pictures. It could be seepage. Older homes have a water seepage. What are the things that, is there any walls moving? Is there any cracks in the foundation? Look into it and see how much cost it is to do it if you want to go into it. So a lot of things could change, right? Wow, the time is already almost 8. Okay, let's take one or two more questions and we'll wrap it tonight. I see a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of questions and answers. A lot of people engaged asking questions. I love when people ask a lot of questions and give their insights. What is the good business strategy as a realtor for 2023? Need some tips on my business plan. Here's my simple, in one word answer: get onto social media, do more social media, add more value for your potential clients. Just like this one, right? Give more value. You got to be on social media. You got to do a lot more videos, reels, whatever you can. Be creative with your reels, be creative with your videos, answer different sort of questions, challenges that your potential clients have, what your past clients had. Share stories, success stories, good stories, bad stories. If you're completely new, maybe find a solid team in your city, join them, learn from them along the way. Because if you know someone who is already like crushing it and who has a team who is willing to take a new agent, then why not? So that's those two my piece of advices that I would give. The one basement picture of the stairwell, the foundation and the basement looks like has water damage. But again, water damage doesn't mean that the property will sell for 200,000, right? Water damage, you can fix it with 10-15,000 or dam proofing. So you got to dig more into it if you're more curious, because just get an inspection and then analyze, get quotations on if there is any work needed, and then find what's the market value and make an offer accordingly. How much would it cost to the repair? Water damp proofing, like I said, probably 15,000, depends on the square footage of this house. And also, what else you have. You cannot just assume from one picture, right? You got to go see in person, take someone who knows about that, get better insight into it. Rody, just like I mentioned, price is low. It's not the sale price, it's the listing price. A lot of people get confused with the listing price and the sale price. Listing price it could be anything. One listing that blew my mind If anyone active in Windsor market, you might have known this. There was a multifamily came up, a 31 unit building on Wyandotte, listed for 1.7 million, and literally in 2 days or 3 days, I was shocked to see this price for 31 units. I thought it will, get bidding war for sure. It will sell because, I was like, okay, even if it sell for per unit 100,000, it should sell for 3 million. That's a very basic number that I thought. So that means it should be selling at least 3 million. How come this guy listed for 1.7? Where is 3 million? Where is 1.7? And guess what happened? That property got an offer for $6.5 million. $6.5 million. So imagine, few $1 million over asking. I'm just giving you a real data. This is not the something I'm just making up. It's happened in Windsor in last few months, probably like in April or March or April, when the market was peak. So don't look at the listing price. That's where, if you have a realtor, if you don't have a realtor, DM us. Get the market value for the property, then make a decision. Removing mold, gutting the drywall, fixing the foundation can start anywhere from 15,000 at minimum. Read the description. New sump pump and waterproofing, but doesn't mean that it fix it. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for your ideas sharing with me. Definitely will contact the mortgage agent. Glad to hear, buddy. Well, how much would it take a full renovation from a drywall to renting condition? Shay, Shay, it so many variables to give that price. Here's what my one piece of advice, because the square footage, right? If it's a $500 500 square feet property, would need X amount of renovations, X amount of price. A 5,000 square feet would cost you 10 times that. And how is the current condition? What do you have to take out? What do you have to install? So rather, whenever you're looking at a property, get a contractor with you. It doesn't cost anything. They'll give you quotation. Get a quotation. Generally, if we are talking a standard 3 bedroom, 1 bath or 2 bath unit, 1,100 square feet, if you're completely redoing everything, kitchen, washroom, everything, kitchen would cost you anywhere from 10,000 to $15,000, and it can go up if you go for quality, a high quality. But a standard washroom could cost you, each washroom, $10,000. Flooring can cost you $5 per square footage. Again, I'm talking about standard. A painting of 1,000 square feet would cost you $3,000, $2,000, or even $4,000. Depends on how many primes he has to put, how many coats he has to put, how ugly the current walls are. Yeah, that's some standard numbers. And light fixtures, that's another $1,000, $2,000. So there you go, you got your answer for your 1,000 square feet. What about the Montreal housing and commercial markets? I heard Airbnb is crazy here. I probably dig more into it. Honestly, I have no idea about the Montreal market. I came conclusion that I needed a realtor to make the right decision. Yes, exactly, bro. Don't talk to the listing agents directly. If you're a first-time home buyer, have a buyer agent. You never know if that property is your right property for you. How do you know, right? When you sit down, when you have someone who can guide you, they will, trust me. Good people will take you out from property if it doesn't meet your requirement. So very important. Great, thanks. I'll look into it. Perfect. One more question. Windsor has program that can call and inspectors come to approve 600 for. If you can get me million over asking, sign me up. Trust me, for multifamilies, it did happen. That's a strategy, right? Like it all comes down to what you want to do. Thank you so much for this live. Always says your path and journey is inspiring. Thank you so much, brother. Glad to hear. So that's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone. If anyone wants to get more info, talk to me directly. DM me on Instagram. My assistant will schedule a call. More than happy to help you guys if you need any help in Windsor. So with that, have a wonderful day, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Until the next live, if we don't talk, good night.